You are the kind of lover who arrives only once in the span of a human lifetime. You are a rare and extraordinary soul whose very presence has the power to transform the lives of those fortunate enough to cross your path. Your person recognizes this profound truth with absolute certainty, with a clarity that cuts through all doubt and confusion. They understand, in the deepest chambers of their heart, that what you offered them was not ordinary. It was sacred. They are profoundly aware of the depth and magnitude of their feelings for you. In the quiet, contemplative moments when the world falls silent and they are left alone with their thoughts, they come face to face with a realization that both comforts and devastates them. They understand how rare and precious your love truly is. They recognize that you brought them a sense of warmth, comfort, and passion that is not easily found in this world. These qualities do not simply appear in every person who walks through our lives. They are gifts bestowed by souls who love deeply and authentically. Your person knows, with a certainty that aches, that they may never encounter this kind of love again. This awareness sits heavily in their heart, like a stone they carry with them wherever they go. It weighs on them especially because they also know, with painful clarity, that they have caused you pain. The burden of shame is something they carry deeply. They think back to the times when they disregarded your emotions, when they failed to honor the tenderness of your heart. They remember the moments when they should have been more attentive, more patient, more understanding, more present. Each memory brings with it a wave of regret so powerful it threatens to drown them. They know they hurt you, and not just in passing moments that could be easily forgotten. They hurt you in ways that may have left lasting marks on your heart, scars that might never fully fade. That knowledge torments them in ways they struggle to articulate. They wish desperately that they could turn back time, that they could undo the hurt they caused, that they could rewrite those chapters of your shared story with love and care instead of mistakes and distance. Your absence has created an emptiness in their life that nothing else seems capable of filling. They miss you deeply, profoundly, in ways that extend far beyond surface longing. It is not just the way you looked at them or the words you spoke that they miss. It is the way your energy seemed to wrap around them like a protective blanket, making them feel at home in their own skin. It is the way you saw them, truly saw them, in a world that so often looks right through people. To them, you are not simply a past relationship or a fleeting connection that can be categorized and filed away. You are their true love, the one they believe in their soul they are meant to be with. This is not a casual thought or a romantic notion they entertain from time to time. It is a conviction that lives in their bones. Even now, in the stillness of their days and the restlessness of their nights, they find themselves reaching for their phone. Their fingers hover over your name, tempted to send a message, to break the silence that stretches between you like an ocean. They consider ways to send subtle signs that they are still there, still thinking about you, still hoping for some kind of bridge to be built between your separate worlds. They watch you quietly from a distance, keeping a close and careful eye on what you are doing, how you are moving through your life. They notice the changes in your energy, the shifts in your mood, even when you do not speak directly to them. And while they may not always show it outwardly, the thought of you giving your attention to someone else gnaws at them relentlessly. They feel unsettled, anxious, and even a little panicked when they imagine you smiling at another person the way you used to smile at them. It is not that they want to control you or possess you in some unhealthy way. It is simply that they cannot bear the thought of losing your heart entirely, of watching you give to someone else what they know they should have treasured more carefully when they had the chance. Part of their worry stems from the fact that you are no longer chasing them, no longer pursuing them the way you once did. There was a time when they may have felt confident in your devotion, certain that you would always be there no matter what choices they made or how they behaved. But now, your distance speaks volumes. Your absence from their space, your silence, your lack of pursuit have shaken them to their core. This shift has left them with a storm of conflicted thoughts swirling in their mind. They wonder constantly if you have moved on, if you have found peace without them, if you are happier in your new life. They wonder if there is still a part of you that loves them the way they still love you, or if that love has been extinguished completely, replaced by indifference or worse, by relief at their absence. They have also begun to notice something strange and almost poetic, a pattern in their life that cannot be ignored. Whenever they treat you poorly, whenever they push you away or act without care or consideration, negativity seems to follow them like a shadow. It is as if the universe itself is reminding them of the consequences of hurting someone who loved them so deeply and so purely. Doors that should open remain closed. Opportunities that seem promising fall through. Peace eludes them, replaced by a restlessness that will not let them sleep soundly or move through their days with ease. They are beginning to understand, slowly but surely, that peace in their life is intrinsically tied to making peace with you. In their heart, they feel they need your forgiveness. Not just for closure, not just to ease their guilt, but for their own fundamental well-being. Without it, they are restless, burdened, and unable to find true emotional balance. They are learning that certain debts of the heart must be paid, that certain wounds must be acknowledged and tended to before healing can truly begin. More than anything, your person wants permanence with you. They do not see you as a temporary chapter in their story or a passing phase they will eventually outgrow. They see you as their person, the one they belong with, the one whose hand they are meant to hold as they walk through this life. Regardless of the arguments you have had, the mistakes that have been made, or the misunderstandings that have created distance between you, they believe that your bond is something unbreakable. They believe it is something that was meant to withstand time and trials, something that was written in the stars long before either of you took your first breath. They may not have shown this truth when they should have. They may not have honored it with their actions or their words. But in their soul, in the deepest part of who they are, they have always felt a pull toward you. There has always been a certainty, quiet but persistent, that their life is meant to intertwine with yours, that your paths are meant to merge into one. Without you, they feel a heaviness in their chest that they cannot seem to shake, no matter how hard they try. It is not just sadness they feel, though sadness is certainly part of it. It is a kind of emotional exhaustion, a weariness that comes from knowing they had something beautiful and let it slip through their fingers like sand. They feel broken in ways they cannot fully articulate to anyone, not even to themselves. The joy they once knew has dimmed considerably, replaced by a constant sense of longing that colors everything they do. Even in moments of distraction or busyness, when they try to lose themselves in work or other activities, there is an undercurrent of ache, a persistent reminder that something vital is missing from their life. When they think about you, they do not just recall the physical moments you shared. They do not just remember the touches, the laughter, the shared glances that spoke volumes without words. They recall something deeper and more profound. They recall the way you made them feel seen in a world that often overlooks people's depths, that skims the surface and never bothers to dive deeper. You understood them in ways they sometimes did not even understand themselves. You saw through their defenses, past their masks, into the vulnerable core of who they truly are. Losing that connection feels like losing a part of their own identity, like a piece of themselves has been torn away and they do not know how to function as a complete person anymore. They realize now, with the painful clarity that only hindsight can bring, that you were not just a source of love in their life. You were a source of stability when everything else felt chaotic. You were a source of inspiration when they felt uninspired. You were a source of purpose when they questioned why they were even here. You gave their life meaning in ways they took for granted. If they could speak to you without fear, without the paralyzing anxiety that grips them whenever they think about reaching out, they would tell you that they are sorry. Not just as a formality, not just as words they think they should say, but from the deepest, most authentic parts of their heart. They would admit that they were wrong in ways they can barely stand to acknowledge. They would confess that they took you for granted, that they allowed their own fears, insecurities, or distractions to cloud what truly mattered. They would tell you that you are irreplaceable, that no matter where they go or who they meet in the years to come, no one will ever measure up to the way you made them feel. In truth, despite everything, they are holding on to hope. It is a fragile hope, one that sometimes feels foolish, but it persists nonetheless. They hope that somehow, despite all the pain and all the distance, there is still a path back to you. They believe that love like yours does not happen twice in a lifetime, that what you shared was a once-in-a-generation kind of connection. And so they wait, they watch from their place in the shadows, and they wonder if the universe will be merciful enough to give them one more chance to make things right. Because as much as they try to carry on with their daily life, as much as they try to convince themselves they can be whole without you, they know the truth. Without your love, their world will never feel complete again. I wish I could put into words what I am feeling right now, in this very moment. But every time I try, every time I sit down and attempt to capture these emotions, it feels like my feelings spill over the edges of language and get tangled in my thoughts. Every time I close my eyes, I picture you right here beside me, as if the simple act of imagining you could somehow bridge the impossible distance between us. I long for that closeness with an intensity that frightens me sometimes. I long for the warmth of your presence, for the comfort of knowing you are near, for the peace that only you seemed capable of bringing into my chaotic world. When I walked away from you, I told myself I could handle your absence. I believed, or tried to believe, that I could accept it as a natural part of life, as something that simply happens sometimes. But the truth is, I was wrong. I was profoundly, devastatingly wrong. Instead of finding acceptance or understanding, I have been left with an emptiness that follows me everywhere I go. There is a hollow space in my heart that only you could ever fill, and nothing else I have tried has even come close to filling that void. You were more than just someone I cared about. You became a part of my life in a way I did not even realize until you were gone, until I had to face the reality of days without you. You took care of me as if I were family, showing me a kind of compassion and patience that I rarely allowed myself to accept from anyone. You made me feel safe in my own skin, something I have always struggled with, something I had almost given up on experiencing. You seemed to understand me in ways even I did not understand myself, seeing through my emotional walls without pushing or prying, without demanding I reveal myself before I was ready. Even in my most closed-off moments, when I had built my defenses highest, you found a way to reach me. It is only now, looking back with eyes that have been opened by loss, that I fully grasp just how rare and precious that was. I know deep down, in a place beyond reason or hope, that I will never find someone quite like you again. People cannot be replaced, not truly, not in any meaningful way. And you have left a mark on my life that no one else could ever replicate, a fingerprint on my soul that is yours alone. That is why I have been sending you little messages through songs, hoping that maybe when you hear them, you will recognize my voice in the lyrics, my heart in the melody. Each song is my way of reminding you how much I still love you and how much I miss you. It is my attempt to reach across the silence and distance that separates us, to let you know that my feelings have not faded, not even a little, not even with time and space between us. Now that you are far away from me, everything feels different. It is as though the world has lost some of its color, as though someone has turned down the saturation and left everything looking dull and lifeless. The things I used to enjoy do not have the same spark anymore. Food does not taste as good. Music does not move me the way it once did. Even the sunrise, which I used to love, feels less vibrant without you here to share it with. I have realized, painfully and completely, that you truly mean so much more to me than I allowed myself to admit before. Back when you were close, when I could reach out and touch you whenever I wanted, I took too many things for granted. I thought there would always be more time, always more chances to make things right, always tomorrow to say the things I should have said today. But time has a way of teaching hard lessons to those who do not listen the first time. And the lesson I have learned, carved into my heart with sharp precision, is that I cannot undo the past. I can only carry it with me, learn from it, and try to do better if I am ever given the chance. I am not blind to my own faults, to my own shortcomings and failures. I know I have made mistakes, many of them, some small and some that cut deep. Some of the things I did, or failed to do, hurt you in ways I never intended. I wish I could go back and take those moments away, erase the hurt like words on a chalkboard, and replace it with the love and care I truly felt but did not always show. You do not know how heavy the guilt is that I carry for what I did, for the ways I failed you. It is not just regret that I feel. It is a constant ache, a voice in my head that reminds me every single day of the ways I disappointed you, of the moments when I chose poorly or acted selfishly. I want you to know with complete honesty, with a sincerity that comes from the core of my being, that I never meant to hurt you. Every wrong step I took was out of my own confusion, my own inner turmoil, not out of malice or cruelty. If I could, if the universe would grant me the power, I would spend every day for the rest of my life making up for it, showing you through actions and not just words that I have learned, that I have grown, that I am not the same person who caused you pain. Since you have been gone, I have found myself searching for you in the faces of strangers. I see someone with your hair color and my heart leaps before reality crashes back down. I search for you in the corners of familiar places, in the coffee shop we used to visit, in the park where we used to walk. I look for you in every crowd I pass through, scanning faces with desperate hope. I keep hoping, against all logic and reason, that I will turn a corner and see you standing there, smiling at me the way you used to, with that particular warmth that was meant only for me. But it never happens. It never does. And in those moments of disappointed recognition, I feel the weight of your absence all over again, fresh and crushing. I do not feel connected to anyone else the way I felt connected to you. It is like there was an invisible thread that once tied me to something solid, something safe and secure, and now that thread has been cut. I am adrift in ways I cannot fully explain. The world feels bigger, colder, and lonelier without you in it. Everything seems harder to navigate without you by my side. There is a part of me that wishes I could just pick up the phone right now and tell you all of this. To spill my heart without hesitation, without fear, to let you hear the sincerity in my voice and see the truth in my eyes. But fear holds me back with an iron grip. Fear of what you might say, fear of rejection, fear that you have moved on completely and my words would only be an unwelcome intrusion. Fear that I am too late, that I have missed my window, that the door has closed forever. And yet, even with all those fears swirling inside me like a storm I cannot escape, the longing never goes away. It persists through every doubt, every moment of resignation. I still wish for one more conversation, one more moment to be near you, one more chance to make things right and show you who I truly am beneath all my mistakes. Sometimes I wonder if you still think of me, even for a fleeting second as you go about your day. Do certain songs remind you of us the way they remind me of you? Do you ever look up at the night sky and feel the same pull, the same ache that I do? I do not know the answers to these questions, and that uncertainty is its own kind of torture. All I know with absolute certainty is that you have left an imprint on my life so deep that no amount of time or distance can erase it. And maybe that is the truest sign of love, the most reliable measure of its authenticity. When someone becomes a part of you, when they change you fundamentally, you carry them with you no matter where you go. If I could sum up everything I have been feeling in the simplest possible terms, it is this: I miss you. Not in the casual, passing way people use the word when they have not seen someone in a while. I miss you in the kind of way that reaches into your bones and settles there permanently. I miss the way you understood me without me having to explain myself, without me having to translate my thoughts into words you could comprehend. I miss the way your presence made even the hardest days feel bearable, the way you could transform darkness into something I could survive. I miss the laughter we shared, the quiet moments when words were unnecessary, the way you made me believe I was worth something when I struggled to see my own value. And I love you still, completely and without condition, without reservation or hesitation. That love has not diminished or faded. If anything, it has grown stronger in your absence, more clear and undeniable. So here I am, suspended somewhere between hope and heartache, sending you my thoughts in the only ways I know how. I am hoping that in some small way they find you, that they reach across whatever distance separates us. I am hoping that you will understand, even if you never hear me say it out loud, that you are and always will be one of the most important people in my life.